Alright, welcome back. This is still section 1-3, part B video. And now we're going to learn the different types of angles, or how we could classify angles. You've probably had this before. So this would be a great way to give away boxes in the class if there was a way to do that. But if you want to pause the video right now and call me over, if you're the first person to do that, I'll give you a point on your assignment. Just pause the video and call me over at this point, and I'll let you describe each one of the angles. Alright, I'm going to continue on here. You probably know an acute angle as an angle measuring less than 90 degrees. So between 0 and 90 would be acute. You probably know a right angle as a corner, like a corner of the building or the corner of a book would be 90-degree angles. A lot of times, by the way, if you see a little square in the corner of that angle, that indicates that that's a right angle. So any angle that measures 90 degrees is a right angle. Obtuse would be the next one. And an obtuse angle is going to be an angle that measures between 90 and 180 degrees. So if it measures between 90 and 180 degrees, then it would be obtuse. Notice that it's a little bit bigger than 90, and you can look at and kind of tell what type of angle they are. Well, a straight angle is just a straight line. It's going to have one ray pointing at 0 and one ray pointing at 180, thus making a straight line which measures exactly 180 degrees. So any straight line is a straight angle which measures 180 degrees. On this page, if you wanted to play around with it on your smart notebooks, it's just a sheet here to classify all the different angles that are put on here. So you just click on the angle and drag it up to the column that it would fit in. So you can play around with this. If you have questions on any of it, call me over. Alright, now we've already had a video of how to use the protractor. So I've got an angle up here, and in the protractor already pulled up, and hopefully you already know, because we've had a lesson on it, on how to control and use the protractor. So key points again. Right here in the center, where these two 90 degrees meet, you need to put your center of your protractor right on the vertex of your angle, and have that initial side of your angle, this ray right here, facing right at the 0. Now with the smart software, if you click on it and drag it up to where it matches right on the top of your other side, it's actually going to tell you the exact degrees of your angle. So this would be an acute angle if we were classifying it, and it would measure 54 degrees. Alright, here would be a class activity. I've just got a protractor pasted onto the page of the Smart Notebook software here. And I've already got the arrows on it for you, so you should be able to just drag that. It wants you to create an acute angle, so we'd stop it short of 90 degrees. Then it wanted the right angle, which would be exactly 90 degrees. And then it wanted an obtuse angle, so somewhere bigger than 90 degrees to get your obtuse angle. So if you want to play around with that page, feel free to do so. But that's going to lead you into the first part of this assignment, part B, which is 4, 6, 12, and 14 from page 24. So go ahead and pause the video now and do those 4 problems. Alright. Congruent angles. Well, we know what congruent segments are from section 1-2. They were segments that have the same length. Well, angles work the same way, except for they're going to have the same measure. So two angles that have the same measure, like these two acute angles here, are going to be congruent angles. So again, the congruent symbol is going to be the equals with the little swirl over the top. And then if we wanted a congruent statement, we would say angle like ABC here. Notice I put the vertex in the center again, is congruent to angle ZYX. Alright. Now, if we wanted to talk about their degrees being the same, we would use a different statement. If you see the little M in front of the angle, that's saying that the measure of angle ABC is equal to the measure of angle XYZ. Which would just be saying, like, if this was, say, 60 degrees, then this one would be 60 degrees. So if you're talking about their degrees being equal, you want to use the measure of an angle. If you're talking about the two pieces being the same, then you want to use the congruent symbol and just the angle. Now, another thing that you might have noticed on this page is the arc mark. It works the same way as the segments does. So if these two have the same, like, one arc marked here, then they would be congruent. If we had more angles in the picture, say a ray coming down here and a ray coming down here, if they wanted you to know that this angle was congruent with this angle, then they would put two arc marks in there. And that would just signify that this angle is congruent to this angle. They could use 3 if there was another set of angles that was congruent, and 4, and so on. Now we're going to talk about constructing a congruent angle. So go ahead on your smart notebook. You're going to do this on your notes, and then you're also going to do this on your homework. So you'll have to upload it through the smart notebook software. But you need to go ahead and get some sort of angle drawn on your paper. If you want to, the easiest way on your smart notebook is to go ahead and choose a ray from up here and just go from the same point. Alright, notice that we're not going to just measure it with our protractor and make a congruent one there. If you don't have the markings with your compass and your ruler, then it's going to be incorrect. So you're going to have to click on your compass to get it up. Oops. Let's see, I'm going to take that out. I'll move the compass over here. I'm going to go ahead and pull out the straight edge. And how I'm going to copy this angle is I'm going to make a straight line just like the other two constructions that we started. So I'm just going to make a straight line to start with right there. Move the ruler real quick, and I'm going to label the left end of it. I'm going to just label it C. Now I'm going to take the compass. I'm going to come and I'm going to put a point right on the vertex and go ahead and open up the pencil. Good, about halfway down your angle should be fine. I'm going to mark an arc that intersects both sides of the angle. And I'm going to keep that measure on my compass. And now I'm going to drag it over to the line that I started with over here, the segment. And I'm going to mark an arc length that's definitely a little longer than that original one that I have on the first angle. Now I'm going to take the compass, I'm going to put it back on the intersection of that arc that I met with the original side, or the initial side, and then I'm going to measure out with my compass. You have to rotate it a little bit. I'll measure out with my compass the distance to the other intersection. And mark it on there so that you can see that you got the correct length marked on your compass. And now you're almost done. You just have to take the compass and put the point on this intersection, and we're going to mark that same arc so that we can see that intersection point on our construction. Now if we take our straight edge and we line it up so that we can draw a straight line from C, and then if you wanted to, you could call this point D, I guess. And we're going to draw a straight line from C up through D. And notice that now our angles are congruent. So we just made a copy of this first angle, and we call that constructing a congruent angle. Alright, so go ahead and do that in your notes. And to get practice at it, go ahead and do that now on your homework. And this is going to conclude Part B of Section 1-3.